Right, so in the previous video we were developing the distance and the midpoint formula. So we got those formulas here in the top, boxed in red. So now we actually want to put those formulas to use. We want to find the distance between 2 points and find the midpoint of the line segment that's joining 2 points. So in exercise 1 here, we have 2 points. Let's call this first point 3, -7. Let's call it x1, y1. Notice how I'm going to color code these. And the second point x2, y2, we're going to color this x2 red and y2, what color is that? Blue. All right, now we're going to break out a distance formula. So you probably want to learn this formula. D, I have it written at the top if you don't remember right now. Square root of blank minus blank squared plus blank minus blank squared. So right now I'm actually going to plug in the x's. I'm going to plug in red x2 minus red x1, and then I'm going to plug in the blues. y2 in blue minus y1 in blue. All right, so there's our formula. With colors, let's actually substitute in. So we're making a template again. Blank minus blank squared plus blank minus blank squared, with a big radical above those. And there's a plus in between them under the radical. All right, so x2 here is what? -2. x1 is what? 3. y2 is what? 5. And y1 is what? -7. All right, you see that double negative. 5 minus -7, that becomes a plus, number 1. All right, let's go to the next line. Okay, let's scroll. Scroll. Let's go back to the D. The distance. We're going to make a blank squared plus a blank squared under the radical. Let's do -2 minus 3. What's -2 minus 3? It's -5. And then 5 plus 7, what's that? It's 12. All right, so the next step, we're going to put a distance equals square root of. Let's do the squaring. -5 squared is -5 times -5 is 25. Positive 25. Then we get a plus, and after the plus, we got 12 squared. 12 times 12 is 144. So we're going to take the square root, and we're going to add 25 and 144 underneath the square root. That's 169. What's the square root of 169? Well, it's 13. So the distance between those 2 points is 13 units. Actually, write the word units. 13 units. So let's just draw a little picture here. Just get an idea of what's going on. So normally I won't do this, but I'll do it right now. So I go 1, 2, 3 on the x-axis, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negative on the, what is that axis called? The y-axis. This is your first point right here. And your second point is -2, 5. So you're going to go -2 on the x, and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on the y, and plot your second point. Point 2. And if you join those dudes together, there should be 13 spaces between them. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, I didn't do it to scale. Let me get, oh God, okay. Didn't do it to scale. Let me try it again. Okay, let me try it again. A little bigger this time. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nah, I didn't do it to scale. Well, you get the point. There are 13 of those tick marks in between the points. That's the idea. Okay, I'm not going to try it anymore because this, this iPad is not very precise here. All right, so that's the idea. All right, there are 13 tick marks between those, 13 units. Let's find the midpoint. It'll be part B, finding the midpoint. All right, so the midpoint, I'm going to write MP. parentheses, blank plus blank over 2, comma, blank plus blank over 2. That's what a template looks like. Of course, we're going to put x1 plus x2 in the first pair of blanks. In the second pair of blanks, we're going to put y1 plus y2. All right, let's go up and actually see what we're plugging in. All right, so let's do another template. MP, midpoint, blank plus blank over 2, comma, blank plus blank over 2. All right, I'm going to plug in a 3 for x1, and for x2, a minus 2. And for y1, I'm going to put a minus 7, and for y2, a 5. So we got MP equals, all right, blank over 2, comma, blank over 2. We got to figure out what 3 and negative 2 are together. What's 3 plus negative 2? It's 1, right? Then negative 7 plus 5. Negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. So you can simplify this. MP. I'm going to actually write 1/2 as 0.5. I like to write 1/2 as 0.5. And then negative 2 over 2 would just be negative 1, right? Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. So if we were plotting this midpoint somewhere on the number line, what we'd do, we'd find where is 0.5 positive, negative 1. It would be about like right here, right? This point right here. So that should be the midpoint. So I guess I didn't draw my line super good, my green line. Let me draw it one more time. So the P1 and P2 should go right through that. And that's the midpoint right there. That's the MP right there. 0.5 comma negative 1. All right, FYI. All right. Number 2. What do we got for number 2? We got our first point is negative 7 comma 5. And our second point, P2, is 8 comma negative 3. And we would like to find the distance and the midpoint between those. So I'm going to call this first one x1 red, y1 blue. And the second one, x2 red, y2 blue. All right, I'm off to do the distance. I'm going to write my distance formula down. Square root of blank minus blank squared plus blank minus blank squared. Make sure the radical goes over everything. All right, so we're going to do red x2s in the first pairs of parentheses and blue y2 minus y1 in the second parentheses. Now let's make a template and actually plug in the numbers. I'm going to do square root of blank minus blank squared plus blank minus blank squared. Make sure the radical goes all the way over. All right, red. We got 8 minus negative 7. And for the blues, we're going to have what? Negative 3 minus 5. Now, notice in the first pair of parentheses, you got an 8 minus negative 7. That double negative becomes a plus, so it's going to be 8 plus 7. Right, so we're going to simplify what's in the radicals, or what's in the parentheses under the radicals. So we got blank squared plus blank squared. We're trying to figure out what's in the blanks. 8 plus 7 is 15, right? Negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. All right, now we're going to do the squaring part. We're going to do square root of blank plus blank. What's 15 squared? 15 squared is 225. What's 8 squared, or negative 8 squared? Negative 8 squared, negative 8 times negative 8. So it's positive 64. All right, and then you're going to add. So you're going to have a radical. 225 plus 64 is 289. Can you take the square root of 289 nicely? Yeah, it's 17. So 17 units are between those 2 points. How about midpoint? Midpoint. So I'm going to make a pair of parentheses with a comma in between. I'm going to make a template, blank plus blank over 2, comma, blank plus blank over 2. We're going to put x1, x2 in the first 2 blanks, and in the second 2 blanks, y1 plus y2 in blue. All right, I'm going to make another template. So this is the midpoint, MP I'm going to call it. This is blank plus blank over 2, comma, blank plus blank over 2. You got parentheses around all this. Right, these are points. You got x coordinate and a y coordinate. Okay, so what am I plugging in for x1 here? I'm plugging in a red, -7. I'm plugging in for x2 a red 8. For y1, I'm plugging in blue 5. For y2, I'm plugging in a blue -3. So we got what? -7 plus 8 is 1, and that's over 2, comma. 5 plus -3 is 2, which is going to be over 2. So this is reducing to, I'm going to call this 0.5. 1/2 is 0.5. You don't have to reduce it to a decimal. I like a decimal when I'm dealing with midpoint. So if it's a fraction, I like to turn it to a decimal. And then 2 over 2 is 1. So 0.5, comma 1. Hey, that's pretty similar to the previous one. The previous one was what? 0.5, comma -1. All right. I know what that thing's there for. I don't know what that is. Here's a number 3. Can we do a number 3? Let's do a P. What's P here? 1, -3. And Q? Okay, we're not calling it P1 and P2. We're calling it P and Q. That doesn't matter. It says -5, 9. All right, so I'm going to call x1, y1, that's my first point, red and blue. And then x2, y2 is my second point, red and blue. We're doing distance, it looks like. Distance formula is d equals the square root of blank minus blank squared plus blank minus blank squared. Square root goes all the way over. All right, we're doing x2 minus x1 in red. And then in blue, y2 minus y1. All right, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a template. But this time I'm not going to write in the letters. I'm going to leave blank, so I'm going to do blank minus blank squared plus blank minus blank squared. And all the radical goes over. Now I'm going to fill in place of those blanks numbers. I'm going to plug in first for x2, -5, and for x1, a 1. For y2, I'm going to put a 9, and for y1, I'm going to put a -3. Now notice that you got a double negative in 9 minus -3, right? The double negative becomes a plus, so that's a 9 plus 3. Okay, so we got to simplify what's in the parentheses. We're going to have a square root of blank squared plus blank squared. So in the first parentheses, we got -5 minus 1 is going to be -6. And in the second parentheses, we got 9 plus 3. 9 plus 3 is 12. The next step is to do the squaring. So I'm going to write d equals the square root of blank plus blank. So we're going to do -6 squared. -6 squared is -6 times -6, which is 36. And in the blue square, we got 12 squared. 12 squared is 144. So we add these numbers together under the radical. We got 36 plus 144 is 180. Now, if you want to, you can leave your answer like that. That's fine. Or you can simplify it. I'm going to simplify mine. So what you can do, you can try to factor 180 into two numbers where one of them is a perfect square. So can you think of any perfect squares inside of 180? I can think of 36, right? So I got the square root of, let's see, 36 times what? Times 5, right? 36 times 5 is 180. 36 is a perfect square. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the square root of 36. The square root of 36 is 6, so that comes out front. And then under the radical stays the 5. So 6 square root of 5 units is the simplified way to write it. If you wanted to write it as a decimal approximation, you could. Sometimes that's useful. So I could plug in my calculators. Let's see. Square root of 180. What is that? It's about 13.4 units. So this is not an exact answer right here. This is a approximate answer. If you want to write an approximate answer, you can, but it's preferred to leave it in radical form. So square root of 180 is fine. 6 square root of 5 is fine. 13.4 approximately. You got to put those approximate squigglies. So these squiggly bars. That means approximately. All right, so we just found the distance. Let's find the midpoint. That should be green. I don't know why it's black. All right, so midpoint formula. Blank plus blank over 2, comma blank plus blank over 2. I'm going to go x1, x2 in red, and then y1, y2 in blue. So now I'm actually going to plug these numbers in. Blank plus blank over 2, comma blank plus blank over 2. What are we plugging in? For x1, we're plugging in 1. For x2, we're plugging in minus 5. For y1, we're plugging in minus 3. For y2, we're plugging in 9. All right, let's see if we can simplify this. Simplifying this. Blank over 2, comma blank over 2. What's 1 plus negative 5? 1 plus negative 5 is what? Negative 4. What's negative 3 plus 9? Negative 3 plus 9 is 6. So what's negative 4 divided by 2? Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. What's 6 divided by 2? That's 3. So negative 2, comma 3 is your midpoint. All right, so yeah, that's distance and midpoint.